to build upon that, and Richard Garcia once again is running the changes. And you mentioned the back five, but we'll see how that sorts itself out.
So Kilkenny linking up with Otter. And he bend in a dangerous ball, the import. Well defended by Stamatolopoulos, and now Valentino Ewell just gifted possession by Castro, and he's off, and Guerrier going to test out his legs early on after he joined Perth. His first appearance in the A-League for a club other than Melbourne Victory.
Yeah, it does, but he showed his value straight away. Exceptional pace. Always good to have a balance all over the park. And one thing that he gives that back three is exceptional pace, both going forwards and backwards, which is so important.
Last A-League match was back in 2018 for Melbourne Victories. Spent the last few years in the J2 League. He's been playing with Jeff United Chiba. Otter, Japanese import, lobbing it up the line, looking for Bramwell.
And just back on what you said about the selections from Richard Garcia, there will be three at the back. So it's Guerrier, Aspropadamides, and Latchman. Two wing backs will be Ingham and Otter.
And Bozza, before you go on, what is the thinking there from Rich Garcia going to a back five?
Well, I think basically he's going to, by doing that, he'll know that O'Donovan and Stamatolopoulos or Ewell, one of the two, will always pretty much be in the centre, so he'll want 3 against 2. However, if I was Craig Deans, I'd be telling Ewell especially and Stamatolopoulos to go out wide to force those 2 outside centre-backs into the full-back position. Now, Gary is comfortable at full-back, we know that. Latchman, not so comfortable. So what you want to do is you want to force these 2 wing-backs then of Perth to come back and to help them, and hopefully they'll bring back the whole 5 against 3, and then you'll be outnumbering somewhere else on the park.
Malik, now Castro, no-look pass up the line, finding Ingham. Here is Guerrier. Probably unlikely that we'll see him play out the full match, but he's been doing a lot of fitness work since returning to Australia, and he looks fit as well.
And good to see him up front as well. So that's another point from playing that system as well. If you've got 3 players at the back marking one of those centre-backs should either come into midfield or even go even further forward. No one can see that coming. It's very, very important. And from a Newcastle perspective after last week, they've gone to a normal back 4. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Bramwell is going to win the free kick, and just to tie off our conversation about chasing Gary with a little bow, he actually holds the record for most A-League matches without a goal with 107, as we see that foul from Miller on Bramwell. And Perth were pretty free scoring earlier in the season. 18 goals in their first 6 matches, but just 4 in their last 5. It's a similar story for Newcastle, just 3 goals in their last 4 matches. Latchman looking up for the run of Bramwell. And a bit of a duel with Matt Miller. That should be fascinating to watch unfold this evening. Young Kieran Bramwell making back-to-back starts for the first time in his A-League career. The 19-year-old. Malik picks out Castro perfectly. He's got time. He always has time, Diego. And Bramwell just fluffs his lines.
That was a great chance. Really well played by Perth.
And now Roy O'Donovan is off. Flag stays down. O'Donovan breaks his dry spell. No, he doesn't. He did look offside, Bozza.
He did. He did. I was going to just keep talking just to make the point. I thought he was offside, but he did look offside. Never mind. Hasn't had the best of times the last 2 or 3 weeks. Probably the best bit of service he's had during that time as well, and he scored. So that'll do a world of good for his confidence. It just showing as well. Remember when Newcastle had that poor spell at the start of the season? They went back to basics, and the first win, they hit Wellington on the break quite a few times.
O'Donovan after it again. Was he clipped by Aspro on the way through? And Aspropotomides into the book for the 4th time this season. So just one off a suspension.
Yeah, I don't think you have many complaints there. A lot of times players, even though they know they're in the wrong, will complain because it's not about that decision, it's about the next one. He'll say it's inadvertent, but he's clipped him.
So Newcastle going to take their time, not going to try the Craig Noon special, the quick free kick. And Rami Nazarene and Steve Ugarkovic.
Quite significant as well. I was talking about Jason Guerrier being in that back three. He adds that pace. Twice they've been caught out. He wasn't back there.
Topor Stanley asking for it on his head. And Nazarene is bending straight into the head of Fornaroli. O'Toole. He sprays it wide in A-League match number 50.
That looked quite close, to be honest. Wasn't far away at all.
And you'll remember his first A-League goal back in round 11, an absolute ripper against the Reds down at Cooper Stadium. Prucho, now Nazarene.
And during the team talk before the game, Richard Garcia, he would have been one of the players. He would have told him, be careful this boy when he gets the ball anywhere from 30 metres out, because he can strike a ball.
Prucho does enough to earn the whistle. Newcastle looking to play on quickly. And if you're looking at players from either side to keep a lookout for tonight, this man for Newcastle and Diego Castro for Perth, they are just magical footballers to watch.
That they are. There's quite a few more as well, but those two are right up there.
Jackson placing it to O'Toole. Stamatolopoulos just letting it run by, and Otter did the clean-up work.
A good little spell from Newcastle. Always when you suffer a heavy defeat the following game, normally the opposition team comes out really hard and fast as they want to see if you're up for it or not. And they held out. Now they're providing their own threats.
When you've got two sides that are a bit lower on confidence, Bozza, we'll see if Valentino Yule finds something here. Miller. Yule taking on Bramwell. Doing well just to jockey him towards the sideline. Ugarkovic. Miller took his time, delivering towards Stamatolopoulos, who scored his first goal for the Jets via the header, and he was not far away there.
Cracking ball in. And once again, just goes to show in terms of your crosses where the majority of goals come from. Doesn't matter how tall the player is inside the box. It matters on the quality of the ball.
What I was going to ask Bozza was, in matches regularly, the first goal we know is paramount, but is that amplified when you've got two sides who are struggling to score and are struggling to win?
You're 100% right. It's easy for me sat here saying, oh, you know, it shouldn't make a difference, but invariably it does. And the better teams, so let's go, the better teams, they might not make so much, especially as the season goes on, be better in terms of ability-wise. But from a mental perspective, they keep playing the same. Yeah, and as hard as it is during that time, once you go out there, they keep playing the same. And just watching here as well, Guerrier coming out to the right back and pushing on Dane Ingham. So Latchman and Aspro converging on the centre. Deans has pushed those two players I said out wide, and he's come out to this side, so he's comfortable coming out to the fullback side.
Topo Stanley, the stand-in Newcastle skipper, knocking it over the sideline. Nigel Bogard back home in the Hunter after he received his 5th yellow card of the season last week. So he sits this one out. Castro, Ingham.
I thought he saw Italiano off his line there. We'll have a look at that again. And had a little go at a chip.
Luis Italiano back in his home city. Fans aren't taking it lightly though on him. The Shed in full voice, and that's wonderful to hear tonight. Ewell has the overlapping run of Ugarkovic on that far side, and now O'Toole again has a strike. Not as good as his last.
No, it wasn't. Maybe he's got an earpiece in hearing what I was saying about his striking. He thought I'll try another one. But still, it was quite clear. Perth players closing him down. There's the table. Perth on 9th, but they haven't played as many games. And Newcastle, especially after Melbourne victory, is a really good result tonight. They'll be looking to at least get something out of this game.
Yeah, they win this one, Perth. They go to within a couple of points of the top 6. Having played 12 matches, a few sides above them have played more. Newcastle, here's a ball over the top, and it's Dane Ingham, and he's just fluffed his lines at the final moment. What an opportunity there for the Glory. Really out of nothing. Now Kilkenny's floating it across to Fornaroli, who scored in 9 consecutive matches at HBF Park. That is an A-League record.
Dane Ingham's been given this opportunity to go further up the pitch because Gary has come out to right back.
Malik, and now Bramwell. Is there enough in that?
No.
Ewell now exploring the space. Malik keeping a watchful eye on him. And Ewell across towards O'Donovan. Well cut out by Latchman.
Very well cut out, but what a really good bit of play by both sides. From one end of the field to the other. Is that early incident. Daniel absolutely spot on. And then Newcastle go right up the other end of the park immediately. And they've got a corner. Good game thus far.
Yeah, too much strength there. Miller on Bramwell, the smaller frame. Here's the corner, bent in. Got a fair bit of whip on that Nazarene, but he'll probably want a bit more depth.
He's dangerous to set players. When you're whipping those ones in, you've got to be very careful how far you get underneath the ball, because they can just go absolutely flying. So he's just trying to get it at head high. It's a difficult skill, but he's excellent at it.
Take 2 for Nazarene. Tempted little scorpion from Stamatolopoulos, and it's Latchman who emerges with possession. And Prusho, well, that's outstanding from the youngster.
Superb play by Prusho. But another young talent we've got here.
Just 20 years of age in A-League match number 9.
So you see over here, you just saw it was a good picture of it there. So Stamatolopoulos has come out onto this side. Gary has come out to right back, and they've just gone for 4 at the back. Ewell on the other side. It's really good from Perth and really adaptive, and it's allowed Ingham to go further forward and make those runs from deep, and he's very pacey.
Not a bad goal-scoring record in the A-League. 4 goals in now 40 appearances for Dane Ingham. And here he is, in on goal. And Topo Stanley got a critical toe in.
Really good defending, but just on that point, Ingham's going further forward, and he has got a lot of pace. And it was a wonderful ball as well from Geria. Those balls in that pocket area. That pocket area is that little space there between the edge of the 6-yard box and the edge of the 18-yard box. So dangerous, because once you get in there, one little mistake from the defenders, penalty.
And just to qualify what I said there, great goal-scoring record for a player who is not playing as a striker, Ingham. So So just past the quarter-hour mark. That's another in-swinger. And somehow it hasn't looped into the back of the net. Newcastle thanking their lucky stars. Very, very dangerous delivery in. And it's Kilkenny. Played every minute this season along with that man, Latchman. The only two Glory men who have been out there for every minute of the campaign. Jackson away to safety.
One must say the quality of the set plays this season across the board has been excellent.
Can you believe it though, Bozza? Glory the only side this season yet to score from a corner. That was almost wiped out then and there.
Maybe the quality, I'll take that back about them. Everyone else except for Glory has been excellent. Except for that last one.
Fornaroli, Malik, Bramwell! A first A-League goal for Kieran Bramwell. And the 19-year-old celebrates in front of his home fans. The city that he grew up in. That will mean a lot to him and his coach.
Super goal from Perth. They've been threatening, especially down this right-hand side. Wonderful interchange, playing a great dummy in the end, and Bramwell with the finish. Down this side, Fornaroli does so well, cuts in this. That is excellent from Malik. That's exactly why that happens. Again, Fornaroli going into the pocket, but watch this from Malik. That is superb, and a good finish. But down this right-hand side, they've really started to work at Sinnet. Since they've pushed Gary out to right back and Ingham on, they've been creating a lot of problems. And apparently they're checking it offside in the lead up to the goal.
Yeah, so the VAR will have a close inspection of this. It is going to be so tight, and gee, if it does get chalked off, you've got to feel for the 19-year-old Bramwell. It's going to be so tight, and it will be so cruel. And it has been given the all clear, so Bramwell has his first A-League goal confirmed. How good's that, Bozza? Another youngster scoring in the A-League. And maybe the Jets can equalise straight away through O'Donovan.
Absolutely superb for him and for you. I had a feeling that you might start to cry if they disallowed that one. But straight away, Newcastle hitting back. There's that young man there. Good finish. But a superb dummy from Malik. That's exactly why that happens.
Are you thinking I'm not a VAR fan, Bozza?
Not at all. I was just saying the way you were saying it. It's so close. This is a check.
And I just have a soft spot for young players, and
so you should. Everyone does.
Yeah, and that's wonderful to see. So Perth Glory with the first goal. It's not something that they've scored often in the recent past, and so critical.
Very critical. And coming back to that point I made, of course, so many troubles down the right since they've gone to the fore and Gary is going forward. Stamatolopoulos is going to have to go with Gary every time he goes forward. That's his man at the end of the day, and he's going to have to go with him.
Yeah, coming into this one, they'd conceded the first goal in 4 of their last 5, Perth Glory. And for Newcastle, conceding early goals has been an issue for them. That not inside the first 15 minutes, but close enough. They've conceded a league high 6 in the first 15 coming into this one, and that's another one inside the first 20. Just what the home side and the home fans needed. Guerrier. And Bramwell is keen for a second.
Good play again. Looking so dangerous. And just underline that point, Stamatolopoulos this time went with Gary, but he's got to be closer to him. So he's causing all sorts of trouble down here on the right-hand side. And they've got to decide as well. And they normally play, you know, with 2 pivots, Agarkovic and Thurgate, not so much as a pivot, but he does come back to give a little bit more of a solidity there to Newcastle. Well, today they've got Prasho and Nazarene. They're more natural, as we would say, number 8s, or even number 10s if you like, or a more attacking side, but they're going to have to put their defensive shifts in as well.
Bramwell found Castro. It's 2 away from a half-century of A-League goals is Diego. Doesn't mind playing the Jets either. Potter towards Ingham. Gee, here's, and now Malik! And parried away by Italiano, and the strike is high and wide. What a way that would have been to end an incredible week for Osama Malik.
Another very dangerous attack, putting Newcastle under all sorts of pressure here. So important that Newcastle get through this little spell without conceding another goal. That was a good save by Italiano. It moved all over the place. Offside in the end, so said the assistant referee. But this is important minutes here for Newcastle. Concede another, it's going to be so difficult for them. If they can stay in the fight here, as I keep saying, keep it at 1. Different story then.
So important to weather the storm with Perth full of energy. Of course, they're being spurred on by the crowd as well.
100%. Coming off the back of what happened last week, all of a sudden, if you concede 2 after having a decent start, but you find yourself 2-0 down, big difference.
Floats it over the top. O'Toole got an important header on it, but Ingham's able to track it down. Castro. Able to stall his momentum initially. The ball in, headed away by Top or Stanley. Perth really applying the pressure now. Guerrier. And Stamatolopoulos concedes the corner.
It's a good play by Stamatolopoulos. Like I said to you before, he's going to be important, because Guerrier is going to run him towards his own goal all night.
Potter. Flying through is Bramwell, and Yule's going to concede one on the other side.
I'll tell you what, all jokes aside, I don't know how they haven't scored from a set play, because those corners from Otto are absolutely phenomenal. So dangerous.
That man back in the Jets starting side. He's been on the bench the last 2. This man hasn't seen the bench all season. Neil Kilkenny. Curling high. Latchman, free header. And Perth are 2 clear. And he has his first A-League goal as well.
Danger signs and red lights now for Newcastle. Far too easy. Another very good corner. Not so sure Italiano couldn't have come at least punched that or tried to make a challenge on him. It's come a long way. A completely free header. And you see there as well, Topple Stanley. It looked as though that they were going man for man. And that's sometimes the danger of going man for man. If you lose your man, as opposed to being in a zone, you know when the ball's coming to the zone, you go and hit it. That's exactly what you have. You can get blocked off much easier. Always should be a mixture. But if you have to choose between one, I'd always go for zone. You get your best headers in the position where either the most dangerous balls normally are going to be, and you say to them, it goes in your zone, you go and hit it.
He's got a pretty decent CV as Daryl Latchman. Played for 5 different sides in the Eredivisie and Curaçao International. And now he's got his first goal in the A-League. And if you give him those kind of opportunities, he will punish you 9 times out of 10. So Perth purring at the moment.
Newcastle got to steady the ship here. Then they can start thinking about, from an attacking perspective, getting back into the game, which I'll get onto in a little bit. But right at this moment in time, they need to be nice and compact and just steady that ship, because, like I said, one more goal and you'll be asking me questions of what they can do like you were last week.
Yeah, Perth dominating possession at the moment. And Bosra, if it keeps happening week in, week out, you might run out of answers to that question. That's Propotomides. Geria. Nasharine tracking across. He just beats him for pace. Look at the run from Jason Geria and earns the free kick deservedly. Prusho into the book.
What an impact he's had already, Jason Geria. Absolutely superb. And also a lot of credit's got to go to Richard Garcia, because he saw what was eventuating at the start, and you always want to try to make your best players have an environment where they can shine the best, and that's what he's done with Geria, bringing him out here to right back, recognising they didn't need three at the back the way that Newcastle were playing, and pushing Dane Ingham a little bit further forward. It automatically pushed Newcastle a bit further back.
Kilkenny. Delivery just over the head of Osama Malik, who, if you missed the pre-match, his partner Nadia gave birth to their first child during the week, Hakeem. So congratulations to Nadia and Ozzy Malik. And he's playing some great football at the moment. Back-to-back starts. Almost grabbed a goal as well tonight a little earlier.
Yeah. And the step over dummy for the first goal. Congratulations. Marvellous moment.
So Perth's domination of this head-to-head seems to be continuing tonight. 60% winning record against Newcastle. That's the best against any current A-League side for Perth Glory. And in Perth, they've won 15 of 22. Newcastle with just 3 wins at HBF Park down the years. Recite the stat, Bozza, because I brought it out last week. In A-League history, Newcastle have only come back to win once from 2-0 down.
I remember it. You said it about 8 times last week. Are we on again next week for a Newcastle game? Look, they've steadied the ship a bit. Aspro's down there. Looks as though he's got a cork. But they have steadied the ship.
Steadied it. They've just got to push push it into full steam ahead, because they've got a lot of work to do against a Perth Glory side who has got goals in them.
Coming back to my point about how they're going to get back into the game, we'll let this go.
Ugarkovic looking up, had Yule making a run, decided against the pass to Valentino, instead found Matt Miller. Yule cutting back. Is that showing you the frustration that Newcastle are feeling at the moment? Yule trying to shoot from that kind of distance and angle?
Maybe a wee bit. But coming back into the game, so they're playing with their 2 attacking midfielders in Nasharine and Perth. Now, Ugarkovic is used to getting the ball in these positions to set up the play. Ugarkovic has got to realise as well, with Perth, he can do exactly the same thing. So it might be time for him to push a little bit further forward and let Perth do that sometimes as well, to help them play out from the back. So it's very, very important for them. They haven't got a big man up front where they're going to launch the ball. They like to play their way through. The other thing they need to do as well, those 2 wide men, when they're starting to attack, they need to start to attack, to hug those touch lines. And the fullbacks, good ball from O'Toole. Again, especially when they're having a bit of trouble in conceding goals at the moment, they need to, whichever side that they're free on, start to make the underlapping runs. That will help them get a few more numbers into the midfield, because Castro and Fornaroli, as well as they're pressing now, will not be able to do this for the whole game. So you see where Pettishow is now, that's fine, and Ugarkovic can come a little bit further forward. But as long as Pettishow then stays, because he's now the defensive midfielder.
O'Toole curling. Yule just couldn't keep the header down, but positive signs there for the Jets.
Much better bit of play. Exactly, basically what I was saying. The only difference being O'Toole went on the overlap instead of the underlap, but still drew them wide. And coming back, you've got Aspro and you've got Latchman, two big centre backs, but it doesn't matter when you whip a ball in like that. Much better.
Fornaroli. So goals in 9 consecutive matches at HBF Park. I said before, that's an A-League record. That run actually started last year in round 11 when he scored against the Jets in that 6-2 win. What an incredible goal scorer he's been in the A-League. 110 matches tonight, 69 goals.
And that's better from Newcastle.
Latchman. Falls nicely for Castro. And the captain curling it around the corner to Ingham. Ingham returns it to Geria. Fornaroli let it run onto the goal scorer, Bramwell. Geria along the tarmac, and Ugarkovic away to safety momentarily for Newcastle.
Again, but danger down this side. Stamatolopoulos has been brought inside, been brought out. He just needs to stay in his zone. He needs to make sure this gentleman here doesn't have the opportunity to run at or to cross just like that. Stay in the zone. Teams will do that. They'll move here, they'll move there just to move you. Stay in your zone. Unless there's a clear and present danger.
Ugarkovic now over the top to Yule. He has the pace to get there in front of Otter and round Otter. And he fires it across, little ricochet, and it's going to be a Newcastle corner. But that's the kind of speed that Valentino Yule possesses.
He's a danger once he starts running at people. Fantastic ball from Ugarkovic. It just goes to show they need to stay in this game because they're a danger themselves. If I was Yule and Newcastle after seeing that, even though Otter done really, really well, I'd be thinking we're going to play him now 3 or 4 times, and let's see if he can still do that.
Nazarene, plenty of bend to the back post, and Liam Reddy got a claw to it to push it away. He was outstanding during the week in the draw with Sydney FC, and he had to get a fist or a hand to that one to knock it away, because it was really dipping and curling in at that back post. Lockie Jackson making the run. And Perth will be desperate for a clean sheet. And now it's turned over. Nazarene, can he make them pay? Problems for Aspropotomides. And that's a red card for the Perth Glory centre half. Inside 35 minutes.
Got no complaints there. I know it says second yellow. I'm not so sure that Daniela didn't just pull the straight red out there.
Just his second red card in the A-League, and as you said, Bozza, he can have no complaints.
No, he wouldn't. It would have been a second yellow, but definitely a second yellow. Can't say that was a straight red, a goal-scoring opportunity, and plus it was a footballing challenge, so second yellow it was, and no complaints whatsoever. And a really good opportunity here for Newcastle, right on the edge of the box as well. So interested to see what Richard Garcia will do now. He's done so well in terms of what he did at the beginning of the game, with Geria coming out to right back and then pushing Dane Ingham on now. We'll see what happens. I'm sure Geria will probably go back into the centre with Latchman. Ingham will come back to right back, It'll take away their attacking prowess. They'll be thinking to themselves, thank God we got 2 goals to protect. Big chance this. Can really rub salt into the wounds if you can put this away.
Hasn't scored in the A-League for Newcastle. Rami Nazarene, just the 1 goal. This would be a big one if he could pull one back for the Jets here. Oh, and the deflection is a kind one to the Perth goal. That is incredible.
I don't know about you, Ben. I was just waiting for that to hit the back of the net. Off his own player, because it's not a corner. I think it was off of Garkovic.
Maybe Yule?
No, Garkovic.
His backside.
Maybe it was a set move. But it was just supposed to hit his backside and go in, but it didn't. But Perth get away with one there. Interesting to see. No, Osama Malik's coming to the central defensive position. Otto over there on the left back. Gary is still down here on the right.
That graphic just showing you how the momentum has swung in this match in the last 7 minutes or so. I was going to mention before, 12 consecutive matches without a clean sheet for Perth Glory. Their last clean sheet was in the elimination final, that 1-0 win against Wellington last year. Yule versus Otta. Places the cross. Malik calmly away, and then Ugarkovic just wastes that opportunity.
Still going in the air, that one. But the right back in this. They started to get themselves back into it. They steadied the ship after that 2nd goal. Much better positionally. It would have been Craig Deans and his staff shouting from the sideline, because Gary and Ingham were causing all sorts. Now they're playing against a 10-man Perth side. Again, from an attacking perspective, so from Newcastle's perspective, they'll have a look. Well, they've got to recognise which player that Perth are going to leave the ball with the majority of times, and they need to get their best players in that position or around that position.
Bramwell pinches it back for Perth. Fornaroli, Castro. Critical tackle from Nikolai Topor-Stanley.
And the other thing from Newcastle's perspective, they need to spread the play.
Nazarene. Well brought down by Yule. And now Miller. Ugarkovic. Little deflection off O'Donovan and falls comfortably for Liam Reddy in the end, but the chances are piling up here for the Jets.
They will do. And the third thing I was going to say just after that, actually, patience is a virtue. Got to make sure they don't get hit with a sucker punch as well. But those first 3 things really are important.
Castro, Kilkenny, and Bramwell. Otter making the overlapping run down the left. And now Castro. And Topor-Stanley's keeping a close eye on the Spaniard, isn't he?
He's done so well there. I was just about to get on to Perth. What do they need to do? Well, they need to keep things very, very tight. They've got 2 big centre halves, so they won't be so bothered if they're going to put the ball out. You have to concede a few things when you're down to 10 men. So keep everything very tight in the middle. If you can get out to people to stop the crosses, okay. And don't stop being an attacking threat to the best of your ability. Nothing stupid in terms of when you get the ball back, you know, flying balls forward. Keep the balls moving. They've got an hour to do with this. It's going to be so hard for them. And big concentration on set plays.
Kilkenny with the corner. Guerrier. Jets getting in each other's way, and Fornaroli somehow is unable to beat Italiano, but the flag was up anyway. Good save, though, from the Newcastle Jets keeper.
From the keeper and from, I think it was Lockie Jackson as well. Be interesting to see this one. Yeah, well offside. Well done to the assistant. Yeah, Italiano There's more Italiano than Jackson. Then here comes the substitute.
So Brandon Wilson heading out there, and it's Ingham who is sacrificed, who has been so dynamic, Dane Ingham, down that right-hand flank. But that is the price that they've had to pay due to the red card.
Yep. And coming back to keep the centre very, very strong. And you see Castro, he's going to drop back into midfield quite a lot. Fornaroli will do his best just to shepherd the ball to the side where they want. So these situations. It's good from Newcastle.
O'Toole.
That's not.
And you can just see, Bozza, so it looks as though it's a 4-4-1, the way Perth are marshalling themselves in defence.
That's what I'll keep themselves in blocks. Fornaroli's going to have such a mega task as well to hold the ball up for him. He's going to be under pressure for a long time. It's a long time. It was about, what, 35th minute? 36 when he got sent off.
Nazarene tried to guide it to Stamatolopoulos, but just overhit it. And
that's what Newcastle got to try to avoid in terms of being frustrated. We saw Sydney FC against MacArthur. For a while, it looked as though it was Sydney FC who were down to 10 men, but they were patient. They were patient, and then all of a sudden, with about 30 minutes to go, they got their goal, and then they just ran all over the top of them. So they're going to have to be patient, Newcastle. Who's going to be the spare man? Get your best players, your Agarkovic's, your Putashos, your Nazarenes around, or in that position, the one they're going to leave, Perth. Spread, hit the touch lines, be patient, and also just don't get hit by that sucker punch.
Nazarene just gives it away. How circumspect, as we see this free kick go Perth's way, how circumspect would you want Perth to be in this situation to make sure they're not just sitting back and effectively parking the bus, but they're also conserving energy?
Well, in every little bit, down to every little detail, yeah, they've got to concentrate as much as they possibly can. Take your time on free kicks, take your time on goal kicks. When the ball goes over here into the corner, nothing silly. Don't commit a foul against a Newcastle player. Every little detail is going to count. Sorry, but every little bit detail is going to count for them.
Bramwell. Seems an age ago that he scored the opening goal of this one. His first in the A-League. Daryl Latchman with the other. Both first-time scorers in the A-League tonight. That's the difference, but Jonathan Aspropotomides was sent off just after those two goals. And that's where we sit at the moment. That pass asking too much of the new man, Jason Geria, who's been great, hasn't he?
He's been superb. What an impact he's had. But he and his teammates are going to have to put a shift in.
Miller firing away down the right. Stamatolopoulos just over the head. O'Toole tracks it down, cuts it across, and it's off the crossbar. And Newcastle wonder what is going on. Where's the luck? Because it's deserted them in this first 45 minutes.
So close there. But still, good signs. You think to yourself, the feeling you had as a Newcastle supporter when you can see that second goal, you're thinking, hey, here we go again. Now, all of a sudden, they're hitting the crossbar. The opposition's down to 10 men. Good play by O'Toole.
So maybe Newcastle fans, it's getting close to 10 o'clock at night, maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, their side's down 2-0. They're thinking, I'm going to turn the TV off, and then there's a red card, and they've left the TV on. Still a chance, they're thinking.
Well, massive now.
So here's the corner, Prusho. And Ugarkovic curling to the, well, not even the back post. It's way over the top.
That's not good. We'll let him off because it's right before half-time, but that's not good. Yeah, if Perth had scored a third during that time, I would have told you at half-time to get all your stats ready and, other things to talk. But now, it's game on with capital G.
Well, if we've got a game that was slipping away, couldn't have asked for a better person to be calling with. You've got plenty of things to chat about, Bozza.
We have now. As we did before.
Yule, and was almost a tackle there from Otter. Stamatolopoulos almost away. They're going to come back for the free kick.
Didn't see any advantage. Well done to Daniel, the referee.
So a couple of minutes until half-time. Big moments here. Ugarkovic floating, Topor, Stanley, and ready. Again, the former Newcastle Jet, I should mention, played every match in the Jets' inaugural A-League campaign back in 05-06, did Liam Reddy. And now Castro playing in Fornaroli. Prusho not giving him any space. Wilson, Guerrier. The intensity just lifting a little bit. How about that from Castro on Stamatolopoulos? That's worth the price of admission. Otter linking up with Latchman, now to Bramwell, and Matt Miller extinguishes any opportunity down the Jets' right. I'll be happy with this Perth. In possession, final 45 seconds of the first half.
Totally happy.
Bramwell.
The other thing there with Newcastle, sorry to interrupt you, Ben, you see how that when Perth were having the ball, and there'll be some players thinking, what's going on here? Because if you had a look, there was only 2 Perth players up front. There was 4 across the back for Newcastle. When that happens, Topor Stanley, senior player, is going to push one of those spare players into midfield. Only need 3 against 2.
Final chance of this first half. Nazarene, Stamatolopoulos, and it was Guerrier there. Right place, right time, as he has been throughout the first half in Perth. And what an interesting 45 minutes we have witnessed in the West. Kieran Bramwell scoring his first A-League goal. Daryl Latchman did so just minutes later. But Jonathan Aspropotomides was sent off before half-time. Half-time, it is Perth Glory 2, Newcastle Jets 0. So many interesting questions that will be answered in the second half. Perth desperate for their first win of the month. 5 matches without a win. Newcastle on a 4-match losing streak. And let's head down and hear from Roy O'Donovan. Roy, gee, fair bit of luck not going your way in that first 45 minutes. Did it feel that way?
Yeah, look, it did. Going forward, the couple of chances we did create, we just need one to go in and not get called offside. Defensively, pretty poor clearance on the first goal. And second goal, not picking up their biggest man, which is criminal. So, same mistakes, but we need to be better going forward in the second half.
What was the major thing you learnt yourself that you're going to take into that second 45?
Look, we're the last 25 minutes of that game, we haven't hemmed in. We're pressing in their half, we're playing the ball forward in their half. That's what's going to hurt teams, not playing backwards and sideways like we have been doing for the last few games.
Thanks, Roy, for your time. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Mark Bosnich and myself will be back after the break to wrap up that first half and preview the second. Big night in Perth. We'll be back soon.
Sleep-ins, fresh air, family time, and lots of footy.
That's how we roll on Fox League. How good is this?
What a weekend. Unbelievable.
Sundays done right on Fox League.
At Bet365, the action never stops. Our soccer early payout is now available on multis. Simply place a pre-match bet on the full-time result. If your team leads by 2 goals at any stage, We'll settle your bet as a winner, even if your team fails to win. We're the world's favourite betting company for many reasons. Our early payout is just one of them. Gamble responsibly.
At Macca's, we believe some things